Hey folks, my name is Mo Amir and this is VANCOLOUR, British Columbia's bona fide culture and politics TV talk show. Tonight may be our most unhinged episode yet. Gen Z is obsessed with Labubu's, no cap. What even is that? Well, our resident Zoomer, Nina Savage, will spill the tea, spill the Z on Labubus. Plus, can we heat our community pools with Bitcoin? The mayor of Vancouver thinks so. I actually roasted him for this, but I'm ready to hear out the other side. But first, apparently we're all having less sex. Some people are calling it the sex recession. Has big tech energy prioritized screen time over quality time? Well, here to explain, registered psychologist and director of the West Coast Center for Sex Therapy, Dr. Carolin Klein. Dr. Klein, so nice to see you. Thanks for being here.
It's such a pleasure to be here.
I am seeing so many headlines talking about a sex recession. Yeah. What is that?
Yeah, sex recession is just like an economic recession, except it's not a downturn in economic activity, it's a downturn in sexual activity. So it refers to that this idea that adults are having less sex than has historically been normal for them.
So is this affecting adults who are singles, or even if you're in a committed relationship, you're having less sex?
Both.
Both. Okay.
Both. Yep. We are seeing it that singles are definitely a big piece of it, but partnered people are also really responsible for the sexual recession. They are not getting busy as much as they used to.
And is it affecting certain age groups or demographics more than others?
Yeah. So we're really seeing it in the younger adults. So that's our Gen Zers and our millennials.
They're the ones with all the hormones.
Yeah.
They have all the raging hormones. That doesn't make any sense.
The sexual recession, I think it is a little bit confusing for people because we are living in a time where we've got birth control and we've got, less shame about premarital sex. We've got
Tinder.
Viagra. We've got hookup apps. Exactly. So I think a lot of people were surprised by it. And we don't fully understand it yet. But yet there seem to be various factors that are driving it.
So I'm ready to blame social media and technology, smartphones. Am I onto something? Or is it something else?
Yeah, I mean, that seems really plausible. There's two big things that we know, and then there's a whole bunch that we don't know, but a lot of plausible explanations. The parts that we really know is that, singles are responsible for a part of it, and the whole reason is the fact that they're staying single longer. So people are not partnering and getting married as early as they used to, and the reality is that once you're partnered, you tend to have more sex and more consistent sex than when you're single. So the fact that singles are staying single, now the question becomes, why are they staying single? Is that technology that we are seeing that the percentage of time that young people, especially Gen Z, young adults, are spending not face-to-face with their peers, it's gone way up. It's, in the last 15 years, the amount of time that people are spending online has doubled compared to when they were actually spending it with their friends. And so if you're not actually with your friends, it's hard to have sex with them.
Sure,
we're also seeing that that people are more anxious, more depressed. And so is it that as they're more depressed and anxious, they're not interested in sex? The medications we use to treat anxiety and depression have a lot of sexual side effects. Is that playing a role? So singles are a part of it. And then the other piece is the partnered individuals who, again, are also really driving this. And there again, technology seems to be the big one behind that. Esther Perel, the famous relationship therapist, she always has this great line, and she says to people when she gives a talk, she says, is the last thing you stroke before you go to bed your device, and is the first thing you stroke in the morning when you wake up your device, and do you do this with your partner lying right beside you?
Right.
And the vast majority of people, it's true. I'll just say very quickly, I work with a lot of couples who are coming into my office and saying, we're struggling to make time for sex, but they've all watched Adolescence. They're all up to date on Bridgerton and Stranger Things. So people are definitely being entertained more by technology than they are by their partners now.
And I guess this has repercussions just beyond sex, right? Because it sounds like then you're actually losing perhaps some emotional intimacy if you're constantly distracted by all your devices, whether you are single or in a relationship, right?
Yeah, that's the concern for people like myself, psychologists, sex therapists. It's not the drop in sex specifically, but it's what is this representative of? And are people connecting less with one another? Are people more lonely? We know that as people have more sex, the general trend is better emotional health, better physical health. The relationships are happier and they're happier. So the fear is, are people actually dropping in quality of life? Is this a proxy for that?
It sounds like that. And I mean, what you're describing sounds kind of depressing and sad and
yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's
dystopian.
some parents of 20-year-olds who are thrilled that their kids are not having as much sex. But I think it is a bit concerning of why is this happening, and something for us to be mindful of just how much time we turn to our screens and what are we sacrificing as we do that.
So the simple solution, from what I'm gathering, just based on logic, is spend less time on your devices, spend more time face-to-face with your friends, your loved ones in general. And the sex will follow as need be, right?
Yes.
Is it that simple?
I feel a little nervous saying that as we're doing this on screen, but yes, the general idea would be that people need to consider how much time are they spending online and what.
I mean, they can watch this show online. That's fine.
And then they can touch their partner as they're watching the show together, right? But the idea being that, yes, we need to recognize that we are inviting a third and a fourth into the relationship, that we're having relationships with our screens much more than we are with other people sometimes, and it's not associated with better quality of life.
How much of this also relates to just the ubiquity of pornography in our society?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really interesting question, and a lot of people have been wondering about that. But some of the research that's out there is actually showing that people who, and I'm not trying to say people should go and watch porn, but the people who watch more porn are also more sexually active. And it probably is that they just are more horny and they choose both things.
Yeah.
But it's not that we're seeing this data that everyone's outsourcing it to porn and no one's turning to others anymore. In my office, it is true that sometimes that's what we see, that people are still having a sex life, you know, through porn and not with their partner. But overall, the data is not actually supporting that.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So what I'm hearing is, in some ways, very simple when it comes to technology and looking at where we're spending our time, but in other ways, kind of complex and complicated.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's even things like for young people, now we've got these tracking apps. I don't know about you, but when I was younger, I could go somewhere my parents didn't know where I was.
Right.
Nowadays, what's the impact of that technology that young people can't exactly sneak around and go and visit their significant other? We've got the economy, are people spending more time at home, and then it's harder to date other people, or it's less attractive if you don't have a job as a young person. I mean, we've got so many possibilities here, but the big ones do seem to be technology and mental health.
Dr. Klein, what a interesting chat, and I guess scary chat as well. Nonetheless, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Folks, that was the director of the West Coast Center for Sex Therapy, Dr. Carolin Klein. Now, after some business, the mayor of Vancouver wants to heat pools with Bitcoin. Now, hear me out. What if it's actually a good idea? We'll talk about it up next.